Hi all, I'm back with an introduction to MySQL. I'm Mohammed Sajjad from Bivak Software Development and System Administration. Today we are going to discuss about the databases and all things that is related to databases. So in this first class, we have explored databases and learn how you can create them powerful. Also, how it will be efficient in PHP applications. In this video, you are started with databases. You can examine the general advantages of using databases rather than files to store your data. Also, you can learn about some of the popular databases that you are likely to come across and how they differ. And examine the idea of relational databases and explore common concepts of relational databases such as normalization and indexing. And also, at last, how to configure MySQL, a database system that's freely available and widely used with PHP. So, we will move on to the first session. So, we are going to nothing but deciding how to store data. Okay, so whenever we start working a data-driven application, one of our first design decisions should be how will be the application store and access its data. So the answer will depend on the application's requirement. At the simplest level, we are asking some question like how much data will the application use, how often it will need access to the data, how often will it need to modify the data, how many users are likely to want access to the data at once. Also, how much will the data grow over time? And the last one, how much do I stand to lose if the data is broken, stolen or lost? If the answer to any of this question is a lot, then you have probably want to steer clear of using plain text files to store your data. That's not to say that text files are useless. In fact, if all you want to do redesign large amount of unfiltered and unsorted data, text files can often be the fastest approach. But generally, if you need to store and access structured data quickly and reliably, plain text files are a good bet. Often, the most efficient alternate to text file is use a database engine, and it will be commonly called as the Database Management System, DBMS. So, here to store the data, to retrieve the data, and to modify the data for you. A good database engine serves as a smart go-between for you and your data, which will organizing and cataloging the data for quick and easy retrieval. So just think, where does all the data go? Well, it depends on some extent on the database engines you are using. Chances are though, it will end up being stored in a number of files. Yes, files. Truth is, you can really get away from using files at some point. The trick is finding ways to use them as efficiently as possible, and a good database engine has many such tricks. Its metamorphical sleeves. So let's begin with database architecture. When we go to this, we have to settle on a particular database which to experiment, and that means first design on the type of database architecture you are going to use. there are two main options are available. The one is the embedded and the second one is client server. So let's look a quick look at both. Embedded databases. An embedded databases engine, as its name implies, it will sit inside the application that uses it, which means it will be in PHP this case. Therefore, it always runs and stores its data on the same machine as the host application. The database is not networked and only one program can connect to it any given time. Moreover, the database can be shared between different machines because each one would simply end up storing and manipulating its own separate version of the data. On the plus side, embedded databases tend to be faster, easier to configure, and easier to work with. Long-standing examples of embedded database engines include DBase, DBM, and PHP supports both these engines in the form of PHP extensions. Then we are moving to the next type of databases available, client-server databases. So the client-server databases are generally speaking more powerful and flexible than embedded databases. They are usually designed for use over networks, which will enabling many applications in a network to work simultaneously with the same data. The database engine itself acts as a server, serving up data to its clients. In the principle, it can field requests from about anywhere with a network connection and a suitable client program. This is a kind of database we are more likely to find in a large company, where large quantities of data need to be shared among many people, where access may be needed from all sorts of different locations. Then we will discuss about the MySQL. MySQL is one of the most popular databases being used on the web today. It's freely available as a download to install and run on your machine. And also it's easy to install on a wide range of operating systems. It will including Unix, Windows and Mac OS. It also available as a relatively cheap feature in many web hosting packages. It's simple to use and includes some handy administration tools. It's also a fast, powerful system that copes well with large, complex databases and should stand you in good stead when it comes to larger projects. These are the SQL statements that we are commonly used. We will discuss about these statements available in SQL. To actually work with these databases and tables, we have to use some SQL statements. So these are the list of statements available in SQL. If the first one is a select, it will retrieve the data from one or more tables. And the next one, insert, it will insert data into a table. Then the next one is replace, it will replace the data in the table. If the same record exists in the table, the statement overrides the records with the new data. Update, it will update the data in a table. The next one is delete, it will delete data from a table. And also create, it will create a database, table or an index. And there is an option available, alter, it will modify the structure of a table. And the last one is drop, it will wipe out all the databases available. Then we are going to setting up of MySQL. So the MySQL database system comes with a different type of programs available. So the MySQL server. This is a database engine itself. The program is usually called MySQL-T. The MySQL command line tool. You can use this tool to tag directly to the MySQL server so that you can create databases and tables and add, view and delete data. It's handy for setting up your databases and also for troubleshooting. The program name is simply MySQL.